Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we have a little bit of more intriguing information to go and talk about in regards to the PlayStation 5 and all the brand new information coming out over here from big boy Jim Ryan. And this was actually a bit more of an intriguing one, but it does actually go and shape up the future of the PlayStation quite a bit, and in all honesty, maybe even the future of just gaming as a whole. So I feel like it's kind of a pretty good topic to go bring up and talk about and mention. So let's go and talk about it. And this, like I said, it's a little bit intriguing and actually something I wasn't really expecting. On the fact that PlayStation 5 gamers aren't really even buying as many games in comparison as per, well, usual. So let's go talk about that. Let's go bring up some information as well before we fully dive into it. Make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on as well for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway. We have had so many of you guys go and check out the Samsung links down below for the free $50. Check that on out. That is linked down below. I've had so many of you guys go and say you guys want it. You guys can't wait to go get it and reserved and all this stuff. No commitment needed. Good stuff down below. Twitter and Twitch stream down below. The Webull Coinbase down below and everything else down below as well, and let's go and dive in the video itself. So as we mentioned, this was a very peculiar thing where we actually have PlayStation 5 owners are now spending even less money on games, but it's actually one of those big like kind of flip-flops where there's actually been being more money spent on microtransactions, which is kind of surprising to me, and I'm going to obviously go dive into it pretty big in this video, but I think the one very big focal point, if you just want to respond to your thoughts down below, like before we fully dive into it, is that it's weird because PlayStation's always been known as that powerhouse of single-player games, that powerhouse of like, we want to play the God of War, the Horizon, you know, all these Ratchet and Clanks, whatever big game is out, Final Fantasies. They are like, we want them sales, we want that money, we want them good $60, $70 games, and we want you guys to buy them and enjoy them, you know, like Last of Us and everything else too. And I would say for a very big, large majority of people, they do. They love it. They love those games. They'll spend some big money on it. Like something like God of War pulling 20 million sales, that's a lot of money. Like that really is, if you think about it, a lot of money. But surprisingly enough, apparently that's not where the big money makers are actually at. So Sony reports that the PS5 owners are now spending substantially less on full games and more on the microtransactions, especially in comparison to the PS4. So let's go talk about this. So the PS4 proved that Sony's continued dominance of the console market, which is true, but the PlayStation 5 has shown that there is still potential yet to be reached. However, it seems that there has been a shift in how consumers spend money on games in the transition from the PS4 and PS5. An official report from Sony compared to what PlayStation gamers are spending money on in between the PS4 and PS5 launches. And it turns out that PS5 owners are spending less on full games and significantly more on microtransactions. So, as I mentioned, it's kind of surprising just on how much we see Sony push out these certain, big title games, and we actually have had a pretty consistent amount. Like, not insane amounts, obviously, but we've had, like, at least a few good games on the way. I think Horizon and Ratchet and Clank are good examples of pure PS5-based games, like, very heavily favored PS5 games. So Sony recently published a presentation on its game and growth and services segment, which we've kind of been covering a little bit throughout these past few days, which delved into PlayStation's current successes, growth, and plans for the future. Within the presentation is a page showing how game spending on the PS5 has grown compared to the PS4 during the PS5's launch window, and then spending increased 15% compared to a similar window from the PS4 launch. What's especially interesting from the chart is how full game spending has actually decreased, though. Very intriguing. So while overall spending on the PS5 increased by 15%, so that's just like, imagine everything. So like physical disc, online sales, digital downloads, microtransactions, whatever. Spending on full games between the PS4 and PS5 actually decreased by 21%. Very intriguing numbers. You guys can actually see the chart over here. So even accounting for increasing overall spending, PS5 owners are spending substantially less on game purchases than they did on the PS4. As for where the increased spending is coming from, spending on add-ons is shown to have increased 247% from the PS4 to PS5. That means PS5 owners are spending significantly more on microtransactions, DLCs, digital currencies, and similar. So I'd probably say a lot of that's probably microtransactions, obviously. So think like a Fortnite, Call of Duty, Overwatch, how you have like a chance for either loot boxes or a chance just to go and buy, just random things for your character, skins, cosmetic, battle passes, whatever it may be. Or you think like, Rocket League, etc. So they're probably churning out some pretty big money. Like we know that League of Legends, Fortnite, all those types of games are very well rich. Like you're gonna make some good money off of utilizing those games, which is really cool. So as you guys can even look through the chart itself, subscriptions, which I believe is more on the PS Plus side, about the same, like just in like if you compare the two ratios, I would say definitely has gone up. Don't just in general, but yeah. We also have the add-ons, which if you guys can look at the chart and just in general, that has a huge increase. So we have this little baby blob, probably around the same size as the subscribe. It's like close, it's pretty close. And then you kind of transfer it on over, and it just explodes. Like it just blobs out. Like it's insane. So it does kind of seem like the add-ons, like once again the the DLCs, the microtransactions, everything else, is actually getting closer to the point where it's almost more than the full games themselves. And I'm sure if Sony wants to keep on pushing this live service stuff, which we've been hearing a lot about, in probably the next 5 years, it'll be even bigger. Like I'm sure these two will probably even switch just positions in the first place. So Sony's chart doesn't specifically mention the proportion of overall spending full game sales and microtransactions make up, which I would love to see. However, judging by eye, it appears that full game sales make up around 50 to 60% of spending, which is still pretty good, while add-on sales account for 30 to 40, and PS5 subscriptions making up the remaining spending. It's easy to see how add-on spending will likely overtake full game spending during the PS5 generation. I really think it'll happen. Yeah, I think with like I mentioned, a lot more live service games, I think it'll be big. I think we'll see a lot more stuff. We'll be seeing a lot more people spending money on the Fortnites. But think like, say, Bungie, for the for PS5. Maybe they'll be going and buying more DLCs, micro DLCs, in-game currencies, stuff like that. There's a wide variety of circumstances to continue, circumstances to consider as we continue. Well, look at the numbers, of course. When the PS4 launched, free-to-play games were only just realizing their potential as well. Like, we really didn't have too much of Fortnite, say, on the PS4. It did, obviously it did, just not on launch cycles as well. So it's it's intriguing. Same with Call of Duty. They did have DLCs or map packs and such, but they don't typically have as many microtransactions or loot boxes and everything else that we've had before. So that's kind of a big thing. So the PS5 launched with free-to-play game support, and the vast majority of AAA games releases have had some type of monetization as well. That doesn't really fully explain why the PS5 is seeing less spending on full games though, and I kind of agree on that as well. Mainly because when it comes to all these deals and sales and stuff, I always hear that people want to go and have the PS5 for games. I mean, they are still buying games. It's just less of a ratio and less overall. So I'm not sure if it's just because maybe there hasn't been that crazy game, like maybe God of War Ragnarok will be the one that will push it over, or maybe like a new Last of Us as well, because that was technically on PS4, and the only kind of big thing we did still see is on Horizon, but at the end of the day, it does kind of seem like a lot of PS5s aren't really fully utilizing their potential. Maybe it's still on the market, maybe in terms of production, maybe you just have to make more games and keep on making more games possibly. That could always be it at the end of the day. Like, it would absolutely make, I think, sense in my mind. So we can kind of go and see. In all honesty, we can kind of go and see. So give me your thoughts and comments on that down below. And as well, as interesting as the trend is, there's also a warning being conveyed by the numbers. The average PS5 owner may now be less likely to buy a full game on their console than they were last generation. Instead, they'd rather go and download a free-to-play game or purchase a live service game and spend their money on microtransactions. But as we've mentioned throughout the video, that does kind of seem like Sony's long-term plan. It does kind of seem like they want to focus and put a lot of attention on making sure that whatever game they go and buy, so say Bungie, think Fortnite, think all those types of games, that long term they can switch, long term they can keep on making money, long term they can keep on updating it, and then at the end of the day they'll have a chance to go and make more money long term. And I think that's maybe a big reason why they're seeing these projections and why they want to spend so much money in acquisitions and everything else, because, well, if you can make more money and you can go and do more stuff, you might as well. Like, there's almost no reason not to. Like, it's kind of like if the game's already made and you just have to go do small updates and small changes, well, at the end of the day, why not? Why not? Just easy money. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts on this. And once again, it kind of ties in very closely on why they bought Bungie and why they like these live services, because they just probably realized that microtransactions are making bank. But I will be honest, too, to kind of have my closing thoughts. I'm not really too much of a microtransaction kind of guy. I'm not too much of like a DLC type of guy. And if the game is great and phenomenal, absolutely down. 100% down. But if it's not, I'm probably just going to drop the game and move on. And I do sometimes think, say, a game like Bungie for Destiny sometimes does push just a little too much in terms of too new updates and kind of hard to get new players on in. But something like, I say, a Fortnite or like an Apex is extremely easy to get viewers in. So it kind of just depends on like what people like, what they want to do, and all that type of stuff. But at the end of the day, it's very intriguing to see that no one's really buying games anymore. in comparison, and how they just want to push more on microtransactions. So, like I said, give me your thoughts and comments down below. And we've been mentioning this a lot all throughout these videos, but make sure you guys go check out the Samsung nice brand new monitors. You get free $50 down below, link down below. Why not? It's awesome. Check it out. We have the Twitter and Twitch stream down below, the Amazon links down below, the Weeble, the Coinbase, the everything else, the Xboxes on top of that stuff. Just check out the links down below, and we'll have a lot more videos all throughout this weekend. So stay tuned, all of you lovely, lovely people. Love you guys.